Hello there. In this presentation I'm going to be looking at IB Diploma's extended essay. As you probably know, it's part of the core of IB. It's something that universities value very much and is one of the integral parts of the IB Diploma. So I'm going to be looking at the various things on the screen there, explaining what the EE is, what's research, how to choose your topic and question, and then actually what the next steps are going to be. To give you a little bit of background, I've been an extended essay coordinator and diploma coordinator, and I'm also an examiner for the EE. So let's kick off then. So first of all, what is it? It's different from probably any other essay that you may have written. It's a piece of independent research on a particular topic that you choose, and with help from a supervisor you go out trying to find the answer to a particular question that you set up. It's a formal essay. It has to be 4,000 words, no more than 4,000 words. And approximately 40 to 50 hours of work is needed. So most schools will probably give you about a year to complete this, and it almost certainly is the largest single piece of work that you will do for the IB Diploma. So doing a little often is a great piece of early advice for the EE. It's externally assessed. That means your teachers may give you an idea about what they think it will get, but it's actually assessed by other IB examiners outside of your school. Together with theory of knowledge, you can get up to 3 bonus points for your total IB score. Included in the extended essay are 3 reflection sessions, and they're massively important. They count for about 17% of your final extended essay grade, and they're completely separate from the content or the quality of the actual essay, so they're quite a big deal. And for diploma program students, it's a compulsory thing. You have to submit an extended essay giving a passing grade to get the diploma. So this is what the kind of bonus point matrix looks like. You can see if you get AA or AB combo, you're going to get 3 bonus points. Down towards the E, if you get an E, then you cannot get the diploma regardless of how many other points you score. So you need to get at least a D or higher. This is how it's assessed. It's out of 34. Which is converted into the A to E. So there's 5 different criterion. You'll see the last one, criterion E, is the one that's completely to do with your reflections, nothing actually to do with the quality of the essay itself. It's talking about what you've learned from the process. The other 4 are related just to the essay. Probably worth pausing there and showing you criterion C is worth over 1/3 of the total marks. Critical thinking is a massive part of the essay, and it's a big thing that you'll need to give yourself time to do properly. So these are the basic steps to begin with that you're going to be taking on your extended essay journey. First thing is to choose a topic. Your school will have, various schools have different rules about what subjects you're allowed to study. Usually it's a subject that you are studying already for IB. From there you need to narrow it down into a particular topic in relation to that subject, a specific area of interest that you have, and it really should be something you are interested in because you're going to be spending quite a lot of time looking at it. Once you've got your topic, you think about an area of that topic that maybe you don't understand fully and you'd like to understand more about. So from there you would form a research question. It should be something that you don't already know the answer to. You may have an idea, but you're going to be testing that idea and seeing if any hypothesis you have is correct, and we'll look at that a bit later, how to make a good research question. Okay, so the first thing to think about is choosing a subject. Have a quick think, which subjects do you think are most popular, which lend themselves well to the extended essay? I can show you, this is a graph from a couple of years ago, I think now. You can see by far group 3 is over half of the EEs are written in group 3 subjects. Perhaps they lend themselves to essay writing and especially research a little bit more. Group 5 is mathematics. You can see not as popular. Again, not necessarily because it's harder, but perhaps it doesn't lend itself to essay writing as much. And again, group 1 also fairly popular. And group 2, we get a lot of English B extended essays. And this is broadly the range of subjects. Again, you can see there it's the group 3 subjects, history, psychology, that kind of dominate near the top, along with English A again, which is an obvious one for essay writing and research. Okay, so the next thing to do, once you've got your particular subject, you need to narrow it down towards a topic. And again, as I said, the topic has to be something that's of interest to you. So let me show you some examples so you can see what that looks like. Here we go. For English A, the topic could be a particular text, The Great Gatsby, and from there you'd focus on one area. The Great Gatsby itself is too big, but use of symbolism, or how relevant is Gatsby's American dream in Trump's America, for example. That would have been an interesting one. It's still an interesting one, really, to look at now. English B is very open in terms of what you can look at, or any B language B subject. You could look at song lyrics, young adult fiction, things like that, and see how they work, or advertisements, media, that kind of thing. Then we're looking at some other examples there from Group 3. You can look at tourism, solar power. Does your school have solar power? As my school mentioned there, how effective would solar power be at your particular school? Or with ITGS, you could look at things like drones, shopping, the effects on shopping, or Netflix and cinema. Find something that's of interest to you. Find something that you would actually like to learn a little bit more about. The subjects here, other options there. I won't go through all of these. You can pause and read them at your own leisure if you wish to. Okay. Right, so then once you've got a topic, you need to develop a research question. And this can take some time. Usually, I would say in 90% of cases, the research question changes from the initial one that a student thinks of, because sometimes it's just not a very relevant question, or it's not researchable, or it may be that you actually do some research and find that you're answering a slightly different question. And so part of research is being flexible. It's one of the big things, is be flexible and open-minded. So let's have a look at a research question. Does advertising portray women in a negative way? That could be a Group 1 or a Group 2 type of question. The problem with that is it's very, very broad, and also it makes a lot of assumptions. The answer would seem to be yes, and then you've got another 3,999 words to explore. So not a lot of wriggle room there, or areas for analysis and research. Generally speaking, also, I'm trying to avoid this kind of closed question where the only answer is yes or no. If you start a sentence with does or has, the answer will always be yes or no. Try and avoid that. Phrases like to what extent, they can be useful. Okay. So let's have a look at how we can improve that question. How and why has Chanel's advertising changed between 2010 and 2019? Now that's much better. It's focused on one particular company. It's got a particular timestamp on it within that decade. You could probably narrow it down to what kind of advertising, but that's much more researchable, much more specific and achievable. That's the main thing. It's got to be something you can actually research. How about this one? Is global warming harming the Earth? Well, hopefully you've realised it's a closed question. Yes would probably be the answer. And the problem is there, it's just too big a topic. It's just that 4,000 words would just be the tip of the iceberg, if you pardon the pun. So how could we make that better? How could we make it a little bit more specific? Let's have a look. Narrow is the key, making it narrow. What has been the impact of melting ice in the North and South Poles on the coastlines of the continental US between 1980 and 2019? Now there should be lots of data on that you could look at. You're probably not going to be doing many experiments yourself, but there'll be lots of secondary research that you could look at that would help give you the answer, and then you could analyse that. That would work. Let's have a look here. Which one of these do you think is better? Well, generally, sorry, let me just go back there. Generally speaking, the second one. Again, it's got a timestamp between 1990 and 2017. In the UK as well, it gives you a location, because the first question is really saying, well, everywhere across the whole world, or English-speaking world. That's going to be very difficult to prove. But also the other thing is adding that how and why. Because if you have a question like, how has McDonald's advertising changed, you could end up just really describing the changes. And describing isn't research. You need to explain why something has happened, look at the factors and say why it's happened, evaluate that, analyse that. That's research. Okay. So to sum up what a good research question is, it's got to be an actual question, it can't be a statement. Narrow rather than wide is better. Something that's worth looking into, something of interest, and something you can actually research. If you're looking at getting government information, is your local government in your country going to give you that information easily? And if it isn't, probably ready to look somewhere else. Is it something you can react to? And because a lot of it is you finding information and then reacting to it, analysing that information in order to come up with an answer. So the research question, overall, it's got to be something that interests you, because you are going to be spending quite a lot of time in looking into it. It's got to be something where you can do personal research. It's got to be fairly limited in scope, fairly narrow, so you can look at a specific problem that needs or perhaps requires an answer. And it should be something that allows you to generate or collect some kind of information and background data. If it's something where there's simply no information on this, or it's speculative, like what would have happened, what will happen, those generally don't work as questions because there's not enough actual data around them, and you can't find an answer to what would have happened. That's impossible. So have something where you've got specific data or information you can look at. A little summary here of what makes a good and bad research question, or RQ. Again, you can pause this if you want to have a look through that. So you get a supervisor. Supervisors give you up to 5 hours of support. Obviously, they won't write the thing for you. You have to do that yourself. So you'll meet with them regularly throughout the process, and they'll give you ideas. Usually the supervisor is a subject specialist, so they'll have good ideas about what to look for. They'll also help you in terms of the reflection. Think about, you can meet with them and discuss your progress, and you can then think about what you've done, what challenges you've had, and how you've overcome them. There's different kinds of research. I'll look at this in another video, but to start with, there are 2 main types of research. Primary research, stuff you do yourself. Secondary research, stuff that other people do and you report on. Okay, but I'll go through that more in more detail later. Briefly, there is another option called world studies, where you combine 2 subjects from different disciplines. There are very specific rules about this. If you're interested in that, I would suggest you go and talk to your EE coordinator at your particular school. So the next steps then, just to sum up, first thing would be, once you've got your subject, go and get the subject guide. They're usually quite short, 4 or 5 pages, and they are absolutely essential reading, because an extended essay in English A is very different from an extended essay in biology or visual arts. So it's crucial you understand the specific rules for each of those for your particular subject. And then once you've got that, ask your teachers to give you a sample essay, a graded essay, so you can understand the kind of level, the depth you need to get into, and also start to understand the mark scheme and how it's applied, and how you can get that top grade, get that A for your extended essay. Okay, thank you very much. Hope that's given you a kind of introductory look at the EE.